And welcome back to the Wrong Advice Podcast. I'm your host, John Picciuto, and I'm very excited to have Mr. Johnny Lou, a.k.a. Johnny HomeMovies, on the pod with us today. Johnny, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing so good. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you on the pod today. Can you give a quick introduction to the listeners of who you are?
Okay. Try to keep it short, but I am I guess everybody knows me as a film photographer. Been doing it for maybe 5 years now. It's been a hell of a ride. Really kind of predominantly just like an Instagram kind of guy. I haven't really dived deep into commission work or anything, or I'm not trying to be some big like photographer mogul. I just love the art of it, and I love sharing it, and that's about it, man.
That's fucking awesome. I love that.
Yeah. I don't really, as a career, it's kind of like I've been doing music as sort of a career, and for a while I owned a recording studio from like 2008 till around, I think, last year.
Wow.
I kind of, my studio was broken into, so I got a lot of stuff stolen, some necessary items like my computer and
shit,
a bunch of microphones, and that's a crazy story in itself if you want to get into that, because I ended up catching the guy on my
shit.
own. The cops couldn't help me.
Detective Johnny.
Yeah, I wrestled the guy. I wrestled the guy down and held him there with a knife until the cops came.
Holy shit!
I'm kidding. That didn't happen. I used a ring. I used a ring camera. To catch him. Whatever. That's a long story, but my recording career kind of came to an end, and I was already sort of halfway out the door. So when that happened, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
sign from the universe.
I have some of my gear still at the house. If I wanted, I could kind of begin again here at the house if I wanted. But for now, like, I'm focused on teaching drums to little kids, which is awesome. The most rewarding thing. Yeah,
dude, that's so
cool. I love
cool.
teaching. Yeah, I think I got my I definitely got my start, my beginnings with teaching, a taste of it through recording, because a lot of the bands I worked with were also like kind of, young bands who sometimes didn't know how to play their instruments and stuff. So it was a lot of like me helping with their instruments, helping them with songwriting, being like an all-in-one encompassing sort of like
mentor,
workhorse for the band, not just recording and then mixed. It was like everything. So I love that aspect. So when I started teaching drums, it kind of came really naturally. And what's funny now is I'm trying to do the same thing with photography. I really want to teach it.
I love that. So talk to me like 5 years ago, like what made you pick up a camera for the first time, or if that was even when you started or just started with film?
5 years ago, I was working at my dad's restaurant. I was helping him manage it. And that was the craziest experience ever. I just jumped into it with I was running a studio at the time, and it was next door to the studio. So I would be recording bands and then like leaving them to go into the restaurant and be like, I'll be right back. and then I'd disappear for like 2 hours. And then I'd come back. So that was a crazy experience. The whole restaurant was like wild. I rehired new staff. I fired everybody. I, was firing people for the first time ever, hiring people for the first time ever, and reworking the menu and all that. And around that time, I decided to buy a camera and take pictures of the staff. I had met Taylor at that time. She was working there. I decided to buy a Sony A6000. My good buddy Alex Bemis had one, and he had just got into it. He's like, it's awesome. I love photography. He was in a band, and he was on tour with a band called This Wildlife. He's good friends with them, and he started photographing for them. He was playing bass for them and doing all their photographs. So they were just like, oh, cool. We don't need to hire a tour photographer anymore. We'll just do it. And when I heard that, I was like, that's incredible. I was in a band, and every tour we would bring a new photographer along, and I'd always admire what they did. And I sort of left it at that. Do you know what I mean? I was always just kind of like oh,
this
you
is
guys are
cool.
great at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are great at this. Keep being great at it. I'm going to play my drums. And then once I saw the homie make that leap, I was like, I want to do that. Like, how much was that camera? I'm going to do it. So I bought the camera, and it kind of just spun out of control from there. I then moved to a Sony A7R II within a couple months. And then this was maybe like 4 or 5 months into just having a camera in my hands. I discovered a Mamiya 645 at a thrift store.
Nice.
So I was dating Taylor at the time, and we were thrifting like a lot. That's what we did. And we went to one of our favorite thrift stores, and I saw the box Mamiya on the wall, and I was like, "What's in that?" And they brought it down for me, and I looked at it, and I was like, "I don't know what this." I was like, "What is this?" And I remember thinking, this is gonna be decor. Nobody shoots film. That's not a thing, right? Like, I'm just gonna put this on my wall. And they said it was $150. And what's crazy is the lens that was on it was worth. It was the 80-1.9. The lens that was on it was worth like $500. And then the camera, the whole package of the camera was worth like $600-700. So I got it for $150. Brought it home. Had no idea what I was gonna do with it. Wasn't planning on shooting it, and then another good friend, Rob Julin, was like, "Dude, film you could buy film and shoot it still, man. Like, are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Really? I know nothing." I was like, "I know nothing. I know nothing." So he's like, let's go out. I'll show you how to use it. We'll put a roll through. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I remember that first day so distinctly. We went into LA. We went to this cool Philly cheesesteak restaurant, and they had these like back rooms that weren't occupied, but there's all this light flooding in. It was really cool. And I remember we were taking portraits of each other there, and I just like the sound it made and everything. I was like, am I doing it right? Like, what is this? And then we went into Chinatown. I remember I also had my digital, and I was shooting both digital and this because I just couldn't rely on this thing. I had no idea if it was gonna,
coming out
provide, anything good. So when I got the photos back, I was totally blown away. And in fact, I had bought a scanner before I got my rolls back. So I've only ever scanned my photos one time with a lab, and it was in Hawaii because I was really I was just impatient. I was sitting on so many rolls. I was like, let's just give them to the lab here. But other than that one occasion, I've always scanned my own photos. And yeah, I guess that sums up the story, right?
Yeah, dude, that's sick, man. Bit. I mean, first of all, thrifting cameras is like, it used to be my favorite thing to do, but now because, film photography,
hard to find. Yeah.
Kendall Jenner, thanks a lot. A lot of people have ruined the fun aspects of it. But that's sick, man. I was just before we got on the line, I was scanning so I shoot a lot of 120 street photography. It's like the thing that I do now all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lynette Blanche. She's like the OG Hasselblad, medium format film photographer, street photographer. And I was like, dude, that's so wild. Like, the process is so slow. Like, I'm shocked you like would do that. And she like convinced me to try it. It's changed my flow dramatically when it comes to taking street photos. And I'm like so hyped on the roles that I'm scanning in right now. But to me, so like I do photography full time as a career, and it's 98.8% digital, right? Clients want to see that shit in 48 hours, not 7 to 10 business days. But the act of shooting film to me is much more rewarding. There's something inherently wonderful and beautiful and chaotic about the process that has really drawn me into it, and something that I'll never stop doing. What is it about film for you that makes you want to make it be pretty much your staple from a photography perspective?
I think everything you just said, I completely agree with. The chaos, right? I do love. I feel like I'm a color guy. Yeah. I lean on it quite a bit, and I love being able to like take a picture of something, like probably something no one would ever, like pay any mind to, and just take a photo of it, and then can't wait to get back and apply some magic to it and see if I can make it come to life. I kind of had that knack with digital too. I remember being like, oh my God, I could shoot anything. I could just point my camera at anything and then apply this edit, and all of a sudden it just starts, you know, looking like this fantasy.
Yeah.
I love that. Of course, obviously there's bad photos too, but there are moments where you're like, I cannot believe this photo looks as good as it does. Like it was such a dumb thing to photograph at the time, you know, which told me that, you know, even with my film camera now, it's like, just take the photo. Just take the photo. There are moments where sure you're like, I'm not taking this photo. This is not it. But there are moments where like I'll be with buddies who are kind of beginners, and they would never think twice at pointing the camera at what I point my camera at. But then they're surprised when they see the result, like, oh, I get it now. And I'm like, yeah, because you never know. Sometimes, well, like our eyeballs see a very dull representation of the world. Like it's kind of like, it's got a blue cast sort of. It's not nearly as warm as I want it to be, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of flat. So just with a little bit of contrast and some like warmth and colors, all of a sudden your world comes to life. And what's funny is I wear these sunglasses that are yellow, and I love them because to me, in a weird way, it's possible that I've been wearing them since I started shooting, like maybe around the same time I picked up a camera. In a weird way, I think I've lost them, by the way, like 5 times. I've had them replaced 5 times, and I now own 2 pairs just in case. Yeah. But that's how I want to see the world, and that's how I like sort of set up my shot and set up like whether I'm going to take the picture. It's almost like almost like a way for me to view. It's a way for me to view the photograph before I put the camera up to my eyes, you know.
Dude, and that is poetic as fuck.
I think it would be so sick if I came out with my own sunglasses that had a filter that was similar to the way I edit, you know, because
do it
just for myself.
That's
just
awesome.
For myself, so I could like. Be like, I could just walk around and be like, have a better idea of the world around me, whether it's worth photographing.
That's amazing. Talk to me about your creative process. Like you said, you shoot a lot of color. I can vividly remember the photograph that led me to following you. No, this is a good thing. I want to say it was Disney World or Star Wars World or something. You have a love-hate relationship with the image.
Big time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was actually going to get into like what is when an image like that goes viral like that. What does that do to someone as a photographer? I've never experienced it. But talk to me a little bit about your creative process from a color perspective, from like a intangible perspective, like what your process is like.
When you say creative process, are you talking about
like intent to
taking the photo?
Yeah, like film stock use, like intent behind imagery. Like, what is like your process when you like put your camera in your pocket, you put it around your neck, and you go out to create?
Oh, well, something like I guess I was known for a lot of like nighttime photography, so I try to shoot in dark scenarios, whether it's interior or outside with a lot of light. But I always make sure I'm not shooting into just the abyss, right? Like I want to make sure wherever I'm going has a lot of light. And I think that's what kind of makes for a great contrasty photo. Making sure there's plenty of light, even though it's nighttime. Whether it be headlights, street lamps, store the signs from like storefronts, whatever it is, make sure it's like kind of well lit so you can sort of deal with that later with the edit. I am guilty of shooting into like too dark areas. So the way I go about it is what I've figured out over time is I don't need a meter when I go out and shoot at night. Like when I go to Disneyland, I just leave my camera at 1/30th, 2.8, 4.0 or whatever, and that's it.
That's impressive. Handheld? Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Handheld. Oh no, I've since graduated to 1/15th. I'm now just strictly 1/15th. Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Really?
I mean, I must have very shaky hands. All my pictures would be just massive blur.
Are you talking about 35 millimeter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because definitely with the like a medium format, it's like you can't get anything lower than 1/60th. But with 35 millimeter, I'm like
Locked in.
It's a boxer's sort of grip.
Yeah.
Elbows tucked. I'm, and sometimes I'll cheat. I'll set the camera on something flat, and just do that. I'll even sometimes I'll set the camera on something flat, and then if I know I need to aim up or down, I'll put my finger under the camera as a little stand. So the lens, because when you set the camera on a table or something, it's aiming low, So I'll kind of put my finger or something underneath it. I'm always making makeshift tripods basically.
Yeah,
but
it's wildly impressive that you do that completely without a meter.
Yeah. What do you mean without a mirror?
Light meter, just shooting handheld.
Light meter. Yeah. No light. Well, there's no point because I know anything faster is going to be too dark, and anything slower is going to be blurry.
Yeah.
Right. So in my mind, I'm just going to keep it at these settings, shoot everything, and that way I'm not slowing down too. I can kind of just shoot whatever I see and just take the photo without any kind of pause or.
Do you do your own developing, or do you push it out to a lab?
I go to a lab because I'm a huge stickler with dust, and when I develop at home, it's just so fucking dusty I can't handle it.
Yeah.
So, and plus, the novelty of developing at home wore off so fast.
2 rolls.
I remember
2 rolls.
Oh my god, dude! If I had 7 rolls, to develop, I'd be like, this is gonna take me all day.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking one time I developed that many rolls, I was like, I'm done. There's no way I'm doing this anymore. This is stupid. and then there's just dust. There's just dust all over my film. So I'm spending hours just getting rid of the dust. I was like, never again.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to even till the end of me, towards the end of me developing, before I stopped, I always had trouble with spooling. It would get fucking jammed and I'd start over and I'd be sweating in the changing bag and just screaming, and I can't do anything about it because my hands are just in the bag. Before that, I used to do it in a dark bathroom, and I would put towels on the door and just sit there in the dark. And I remember I'd be in there for so fucking long just dealing with this jammed spool, just why
am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? I'm in the dark, I can't see anything, I'm fucking sweating. I remember screaming at Taylor, just I fucking hate that. And she's like, what? I was like, nothing. Ah! And then at the time I didn't realize this, but I could shove everything in the actual chain, in the what is it, the tank,
Patterson
and just
tank,
take a break and come back to it. A friend told me that, but at the time I didn't realize I could do that. So I thought oh my God, I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
I can't leave this bathroom until I've completed the objective. And I'd be in there for 30, 40 minutes just losing my mind in the dark. Oh my God,
that's fucking amazing. Dude, that is so
I hate that.
It took me 2 rolls in COVID to retire. I bought all the chemicals, I bought all the fucking tanks, I bought everything you need, bought the developer. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this. I can't leave my house. This is all me. And I did 2 rolls. I would say 3/4 of the photos were properly developed and the rest were just black. I was like, this is horrible.
Oh, no.
I literally went, I just threw everything out. I was like, I'm done. I'm retired.
I think it's fun doing it, being a part of that process from beginning to end. But I'm telling you, man, I can even tell you so then I'd spend all this time in the bathroom doing this deal, right? Pouring it out and, oh my God, heating it up. And it's just, the whole thing was just this is insane. And then I would run a hot bath and just leave the hot water sitting so the bathroom would get really humid and steamy. Mm-hmm. And I would let the film dry in a humid environment, but I would leave the bathroom door cracked just a little bit so that as the film dried, the humidity is also seeping out slowly. It can't be open too much because then it would leave too quick. Because I realized if the film dried too quickly without humidity, it would fucking curl. It would do this deal, which made it impossible for me to scan on a flatbed scanner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was oh my God, this is so crazy. I can't believe that. So now I just get it scanned for $8, $6 at the lab, and they give it to me in this nice cellophane.
Yep.
So what I do is I rip it out of the cellophane, toss the cellophane, and then I roll it up super quick into a roll, and I shove it into a Ziploc bag, and then from there I feed it through my DSLR scanner, and it's just night and day. Like the amount of dust I have to remove, it's like 4 or 5.
I like that.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Before it was like a night. Before I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. There's too much. There's too much.
Yeah.
What do I do? Like, I just leave it.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
You are a clear stickler for dust. I actually like the messiness of like images and frames with like dust, with like particles, with like it looking like shit. I like when there's an eyelash in the frame because like I just didn't fucking dust it off enough. Like I like all of those imperfections.
So my problem with that is the reason why I like no dust, because I've done the dust thing. I've posted photos with dust or hair. The reason why I like it without dust is a 35 millimeter photograph that's been scanned well and all the dust removed. When you see it, it's almost like it's like mesmerizing. Like, what am I seeing? Is this digital?
Yeah.
And then you zoom in and you're like, wow, it's so soft.
Yeah.
What is this medium? Is this film? Like, you're kind of left wondering, because I see some photographers that I love, and when I see, for example, Jason Lee Perry. When you see his work, it's all 35 millimeter, but when you see his work and it's dustless and it's got this like beautiful like
shine,
papery sort of shine to it, and everything's like even in his colors, and it's like you're not distracted. You're not being like, oh, that's film. You're thinking like, what am I? This is amazing, you know? And that's kind of like what I want to evoke. I don't want people to see the dust and be like, oh, this is film. He scanned it himself. You know?
I feel you.
I don't even want them to think that, you know?
That's
and I
cool.
also think the dust in film, that only happens if you scan it, sort of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I just feel like it just quickly it quickly tells you that it's been scanned.
Yeah, at home.
You know, and now people will like literally drop their film on the ground, step on it, and like cough on it or whatever, and then scan it just to make sure it has as much shit on it as possible. I don't.
Yeah, not that. I don't go that far. I do wear gloves. I want to make sure I keep my negatives nice. You know, for when I inevitably am, you know, in a museum. I don't fucking know. I have no idea why. Talk to me a little bit about the impact that film and cinema has had on your creative style, because you have, without question, the tightest, most cinematic sort of look and feel to your work than any other photographer that I follow. And it's uniquely your own. Like, I think you've developed a style that is, like, without question, able to be labeled as Johnny HomeMovies. Like, this is you. Talk to me about... You. Yeah, no problem. Talk to me about sort of the impact of film and cinema in terms of, like, your workflow.
It's absolutely huge. It's huge. Film inspires me more than any other photographer. I've spent more time watching film. I've as a child, I've been watching movies just like you. So, and I'm, you know, when you watch a movie, you're really seeing like hundreds of thousands, a million photograph stills, right? Playing out in the form of video. But so I feel like I've been subconsciously retaining these images as I'm watching these movies since I was a little kid, as opposed to flipping through a photo book, which maybe I looked through a couple photo books as a kid, and then now as a photographer, even then that number of photo books that I flipped through is not many. You know, I don't, you know, so movies are something I'm watching constantly since I was a kid. So I before photography, I think it was already inspiring me in some kind of creative. I used to love drawing. And then now as a photographer, I think it continues to inspire me. And now it's not so subconscious. I'm really focused. You know, I'm looking at every corner, from one corner to another. I'm looking at everything and just kind of like trying to understand what I'm seeing, and also trying to like, it's almost like when I see these movies, there's a story behind the image, and I love that there's a narrative paired with what I'm seeing. So when I pick up my camera and I like hold it up to my eyeball, I'm seeing the same thing. It's a frame with blackness around it, right? So I almost feel like my own DP, my own, I'm my own director of photography at that moment, and I'm able to decide my framing and decide all these things. I don't think of myself as like a photographer making stills. I happen to be making stills, but when I hold my camera up to my eye, I feel like I'm holding a cinema camera or like a video camera, right?
I fucking
and
love
I'm like,
that.
I'm videotaping, right? Like, look at this movie I'm creating. And then if I like something, gotcha, right? I take the shot.
You know what's funny? I'm like, actually, that makes a lot of sense to hear from you, because you post a lot of photo sets, right? Like, a lot of times it's 3-4 images in like a carousel, and you are telling a story through multiple image of a scene that you're witnessing, and that's like your movie brain sort of like developing your creative style. I think that's fucking cool.
Right. I mean, there's no real narrative behind it. I don't go out and I don't try to create something in my mind before I go out and shoot it. Most of my photographs are of my daily life and the things I come across. And it's so much, so it's kind of documentarian, but it's so much more fun to like just see what I could do with what's just right in front of me. And to me, like, when I post stuff like this that has such a strong cinematic or, story behind it, it doesn't really. It's just me hanging out.
Yeah.
If you hear me talk about these photos, that magic will disappear. I'd rather just put them out there, right? And I think it's important for me to challenge when I post it. I'm challenging other people to do the same with their own life, right? Like, pick up a camera, man. You'd be really surprised. Next time you go out on an outing or you go on a date or you go, out to dinner. Sometimes it's just out to dinner. Literally, it's just out to dinner and I have my camera and something catches my eye, trying to go out just to capture something amazing, to me has never been my thing. It's always just kind of happens.
I couldn't possibly agree with you more. I think if in the instances where I've intentionally gone out to do something, I've failed every time. Like, especially for like personal work, there needs to be sort of this free range from a creative perspective for shit to just happen. I agree.
Yeah, and you come back, let's say you're like, I'm going to go here tomorrow with my camera. I'm going to shoot this, and this. And I'm going to get this lens, and I specifically want this comp that I've seen somewhere else, but I want to do it my way. And you go out there and you get it, and then you come back with photos, and you're looking at it, and you're like, fuck yeah. But you've tricked your brain into thinking that these photos are great.
Yeah.
Because you put so much time and effort into like planning it and stuff. Not to say that planning is bad. Of course, there's great people that do it well. But there are probably some guys out there that are wondering, like, what's going on with my work? I don't get it. Why is this not fitting, or why am I not getting the response I want out of it? It's like, well, maybe you're putting too much effort. Like, you're trying a little too hard. And unfortunately, when it comes to the creative world, when you try too hard, people can smell it, right? People can tell something's just off. You don't have to be an artist or another creative to even have that sense, right? You could just, this is good. I mean, keep going, man. You're on your way, but it's not. There's just always something missing, right? And I think that's it. It's like there should be this kind of grace, right? This kind of like just sort of go with it and don't think too much about it. It's hard to explain. It's hard to teach.
No, I understand what you're saying, man. It's like be your authentic self from a creative perspective. Create the work you want to create. Don't feel like you need to put together a piece of work that evokes anything other than the story or the imagery that you're trying to show.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
I would like to tie back into, you had an incredibly viral photo. Is that like, do you hate it?
Well, at the time when I, was looking at the images I took that day, I was like, oh, this is a good one. Yeah. I was like, it's cool. Look at that. It's all green in the back.
Yeah.
It was all misty.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I took that photo, specifically, it was the doorway into a gift shop. So when I had her stand in front of it, it went and it opened. And I remember it was kind of close to closing. And I remember there was a couple like workers standing there in the little fucking Star Wars outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there talking, and then it opened and they looked at us, and I was like, oh, we're not coming in. And they're like, okay. And then the door, it closed. And then I took the shot and we walked away. That's it. And I didn't put. There's no effort behind that photo. We were just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, we went on a bunch of rides that day. We ate a bunch of food, and you know, I took multiple photos that day. And I mean, Taylor's beautiful, so I think that's a huge part of that photo. I don't think there's much of what I did other than it choosing to shoot it in film and coloring it in a kind of greenish manner, paired with her, you know, and I think that photo just sort of, you know, what's funny is I released it on Star Wars Day.
Oh no shit.
Or around the time a new Star Wars dropped, whatever. I don't remember exactly, but it was. I think that helped kind of.
Yeah.
But that photo went so insane and unexpectedly, and still to this day, it's probably one of the most shared photos. That one and another one that I took that same day on a Main Street, Disneyland. Those two photos went absolutely nuts. And when I look at those photos, I don't think like, here's my best work, you know, like here's the, you know, here's like the peak of me, like check, like this is not, but because it was shared so much, people see it and assume that this is all I have to offer. They think of this photo as me. So I get, you know, a lot of like comments that are, you know, not the greatest, people saying crazy things. This photo sucks, you know, what, I don't get it. Or
well, the internet sucks.
Or like, or people would be like, they'll tell these feature accounts, why do you keep featuring this guy? You know, feature the small guys that need him more than him. And I'm like, feature them. Stop it, please. Like, that's good. We're good on this photo. It's been 3 years. You guys are still fucking sharing it.
Yeah.
Stop it. But I can't control what these people are sharing.
Yeah.
I have all this new work. They don't want that. They want the other one. So it's very odd. Some people claim that I'm paying for these features. This guy's fucking paying for all these features. What a loser. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, I think that's great. There are people who do that, don't get me wrong, but I think anyone who's trying to trick themselves into being something they're not by going down that route, it's just like they're wrestling with a level of imposter syndrome that you don't even remotely strike me as someone who experiences. In terms of your own particular artist journey, how has the process been like you since moving into the NFT space? That's originally how we sort of linked up via Twitter. I bought one of your prints, and I bought one of your NFTs, which came with a print. I don't know if that's like a thing or if it was an accident. But it's one of my favorite.
Did I send you a print by accident?
Well,
it was by accident.
I think it was by accident.
I slipped and fell on your address, and then I slipped and fell into the mailbox.
Or you got it for free or something. Something funny happened when I got it. You were like, "Are you sure you got it?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it." And I thought you said like something funny happened where you didn't pay for it or something. I don't remember what happened.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what happened. They messaged me and they said, "Hey, your credit card didn't go through." I'm like, and I just didn't respond. But you still got the print.
Yeah,
so,
it's dope.
Yeah,
it's hanging on my wall, man.
I stole it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. That's sort of how we linked up. What has your journey sort of been in the NFT space? What are your feelings on the space and like?
Hate it.
Yeah, me too.
Hate it. I was so excited about it in the beginning, just like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
I get to sell my work and make money off my own art and not have to do commission stuff. And what happened was I realized really quickly, I was like, oh, I have to share the same fucking photos every day?
Yeah.
That's not from the world I come from. I'm constantly sharing something new. And I'm like, I don't want to do that to anybody. I don't want to see the same work over and over again. Like, that's crazy. Like, I can't share anything new. Now that I've put out this NFT, it's like just this forever until it's sold out. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I've pivoted hard on Twitter, and I only share new work. Well, I cycle through some of the same old stuff because Twitter does allow, people are used to people sharing the same photos over and over again. So in a sense, what I've done was I am sharing the same photos, but I have them as a carousel where like in a month I'll share like a big group of photos, and then I'll come back to it again in the next month. So in a way, every day you're seeing kind of new photos. but then they'll kind of come back around in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Which to me, I went from like 3,000 followers to now like 13,000 followers by just doing that, and never mentioning NFTs. Oh my God. Not mentioning NFTs has literally allowed all these people to flood into my account, you know? As soon as an NFT comes out of your mouth, nobody wants anything to do with you.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciate that. I think the greatest takeaway from the space has been the people that I've met across the way, like these conversations and the ability to have like artistic, impressions and role models has been great. It is just the same shit in a different place, and it is exhausting and not my cup of tea anymore. It was very exciting for a hot minute. I thought, wow, this is so fucking cool. This is going to be great. And I was like, oh, it's just the same fucking thing. It's the same thing in a different space.
Yeah. I mean, you could say I wouldn't be whining if I was like one of these guys making, 10,000, 20,000 a month selling their NFTs. It would be a totally different conversation.
Absolutely.
Probably this whole conversation would have been about NFTs and how badass I am.
Yeah.
But instead, I felt like I can't do this. Maybe I could find some success if I really,
Yeah, you spend 5 hours a day in Twitter Spaces. You like retweet, tweet, retweet. You go through the shill threads. Yeah, listen, I don't think anything worth having is not worth doing the work for. But to me, I'm not the type of person who's going to go down the road of pretending to want to sell me and my shit to other people. Like that's not what I want to do. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like if someone wants to do it for me, sure, go nuts. But like to me, to want to spend hours a day, I mean, I was doing it. I was doing it like crazy, and I sold some NFTs. I had a lot of fun. It was great. And then all of a sudden, I was like, this is just not really. There's no net benefit here. I'm spending a lot of time. The amount of money that I was making was like meh. Sure, if I was selling out collections and making tens of thousands of dollars a month, we would be having a different conversation. I agree. It's just, exactly. I think more or less, we would have ended up in the same place.
It's almost like, did I fail at NFTs or did I just give up on it at the same time? It's probably a little bit of both. Me realizing like, holy shit, if I really want success in the NFT world, this is a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And I got to only do this. And I gotta push it and be in the DMs of all these big collectors and rubbing noses with them. And I'm just like, dude, this is so politically based now at this point, or driven. And I'm like, this is odd. Like I just want to at this point, dude. I don't even really. I just been really super into going to the gym, getting back into boxing. I haven't been taking that many photos. I just have these trips lined up where I will take photos, but. Right now I'm just laying low and I'm in my mind I was like, this is the life, like seeing my friends, not my Twitter, like the Twitter friends thing was just like, I love those guys. I met some really talented dudes on there, but I'm like, I'm not making time for my like actual friends that are here,
real life shit,
Yeah. And when I do see them, they have to hear about me talk about this NFT thing, like it is just becoming like I felt like a crazy person.
Yeah. No, dude, I feel you. I was spending so much time on it, and I did the same thing. Like I was not spending time with my friends. I wasn't hanging out with my family. Like the things that like when you realize after you spend 10 hours in a Twitter space, you're like, wow, I've been alone this whole time. Like I've been on a chat room for 10 hours. Like we brought back AOL and Twitter Spaces and like Clubhouse in 2020.
Yeah,
it's just
chat rooms.
Yeah.
ASL. Right,
yeah,
what's your NFT drop? Let's see it. Oh my god! And can we just talk about like the strange, bizarro kindness that's in the Twitter world with
faux kindness. It's not real.
What is that?
It is born from a good place. It's mandatory. But like it's a circle jerk. It's a circle jerk because like no one will be like, dude, as a photographer, the only way I'm going to get better is by people giving me conscious corrective criticism to my work. Hey, this is a good photo, but hey, this is a good idea, but not like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen. We love you. You're so good. Do it again. It's like, no, that's not real. Like you don't grow as an artist by everyone telling you how great you are.
No, absolutely not. I mean, sometimes I look at friends whose work isn't quite doing anything, and I'm like, I always feel like if you surround yourself with yes men, or not even yes men. It could just literally be your mom.
Yeah.
Just being like, honey, I think it's great. I think it's great. Don't listen to anybody else. It's like, dude, this is why you're not getting anywhere, man. You need to like either find people who are going to critique your work, or be violently critical of your own work.
Absolutely.
I think that's the only way.
I like that. I like that advice a lot. Yeah, it's crucial. I mean, I have a mentor. I'm blessed to have a really amazing human being who's wildly invested in seeing me be successful, and I think that in of itself has given me growth that I couldn't have otherwise. It's because you need to have those unbiased conversations with someone about your work. If you want to grow as an artist, if you want to get better, that's what's going to be required.
So a couple of these kids I've picked up, these students through the mentorship program, we haven't gone as far as to photo critique too harshly or dive into that. Some of them are pretty beginner, but it's a lot of just me kind of giving them how I would shoot something, or giving them a rundown of how I do things. But I do have a good friend that just started shooting. I loaned him my camera, and he's like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I was like, I'll teach you how to use it, man. Let's go out together and shoot. And of course, his photos have been, they're the typical phase 1 photos of like stuff around the house, stuff around the room, stuff in the backyard, your friends, your family, you know what I mean? But I pressed him hard. I go, listen, man, what were you thinking on this one? Why did you take this photo? And he's like, well, I love the architecture. I love this thing. He has a thing with seeing somebody else's art, like maybe like a mural on a wall, or like the front of a building or something. And I'm like, well, it might be time to enter that building and take photos inside of it, or maybe don't take photos of other people's art, because that doesn't make any sense to me. You're
documenting someone else's work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and honestly, I see that in the NFT space too. I see guys that are taking pictures of other people's sort of creations, whether it be a sculpture or something, or like it can even architecture is a little different, because your positioning and angle can create different geometry and different lines and but there are certain things where it's like, this was an art installment that you took a picture of, and now you're selling it as an NFT. That's wild.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
That is wild.
So anyways, really quick to finish what I was saying. Yeah, like some people starting out, I think, have trouble making a decision on what they want to point their camera at, and I always try to encourage them to like think about why they did it, and maybe consider getting closer to it, or going inside of the building, or kind of trying to like tell a story. Like, all right, cool, you have the wide shot, right? That sets the scene. Now tell me what's going on inside. Who are we seeing? What are they doing? A great example I gave a kid recently. He had a big wide shot of like he's standing at the beach. You could see the the restrooms, people standing by the bushes, looking out over the sand, people on the sand, and you could see it was like this big, wide sort of setup shot. And I was like, this is great, but show me what the individual people are doing. Is there a kid building a sandcastle? Let's see that. Let's see is he holding up a shell, or did he find something in the sand? Show me that. Like, get close. I want to feel like I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the story.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest lesson to learn as a photographer, especially someone who's like going out to create as like a street photographer, documentarian. Like, the entire first 6, 7, 8 months of my street work was 50 millimeter, far away, put someone in space, because I was too afraid to get up close and like take that photo of someone up front. It's very intimidating. It's you don't know how someone's going to react. I mean, now that's like my favorite thing. Like, when I get up super close to someone with my Hasselblad and that fucking mirror goes like, they're like, did you just take my picture? I'm like, yeah. They're like, why? I was like, I just, sorry. It's great. Sorry. That's sort of, but like that to me is, it's what you have to get. You're going to graduate to that point.
You got to be brave. And even yesterday, I was wandering around Caltech with my friend. We were taking photographs, and I saw this dude sitting on a bench by himself, and I couldn't. It's been so long for me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. if I had taken a picture of him, it would have been from like 50 feet away and it would have meant nothing. I knew if I really wanted to get it good, I needed to be at least 10 feet in front of him, and I couldn't get myself to do it.
Yeah.
But I do know that in crowded areas, and when I've built up the sort of momentum of just like I don't give a fuck, it does get easier. But I'd say that's important. That's important to part of a good photograph. Don't be if you're afraid to get close to your subject, even if it's like not a person, whether like I always say to climb that fence, get over it. Don't shoot through it. Get over the fence. Go through. Try the door. See if it's unlocked. If it is, go in. We wandered into an auditorium last night that was completely empty at Caltech, and I was kind of scared. I was like, should we be here? But dude, we wandered up and down the aisles. We were sitting on the chairs. My friend got on the podium, and we're just like, what are we doing? This is fucking. We shouldn't be here. But he would never do that. He thanked me after and was like, dude, thank you so much for like. I was like, I'm so surprised you didn't bounce, and just like, Johnny, you go in, I'll keep watch. He came in with me, and I was like, dude, I'm proud of you, man. I don't think you would have ever done that. And he's like, no, I wouldn't. Point is, like, you should try to, like, I'm not saying break the law, but come on, you're not murdering or stealing anything. You're just taking photos. If you get caught, you're just the guy with the camera. Hey, man, I'm sorry, I was just taking photos. Like,
you just have to. You've got to push your own personal boundaries and comfort zone, and like you said, do it in a non-law, in a law-abiding way, which is a good tip for.
Sort of.
Law-abiding adjacent.
That hospital, that abandoned hospital I shot, I ended up paying the security guard to give me a tour of it, and I fucking exploited him so much, man. I went back like 3 days in a row. Brought different friends. At one point, I showed up at a time when he wasn't there and tried to bribe the other security guard. She wasn't having it. She was like, and I was like, well, the other guy let me do it. And she's like, what other guy? And then I almost got him fired.
Oh, man.
It was like the worst thing ever, but I got some like cool photos out of it. That was don't do that. Don't do what I did. I just fell in love with this hospital. I couldn't get enough that I kept wanting to go back and back and back. It's right down the street from me. But what I was going to say is, if you are afraid to get close to your subject, if you are afraid to climb that fence or go through that door, or ask somebody like a security guard, dude, you think I could? Here's $20. Can I just get over and can you let me through or something? I've also gone into a church once, and I spoke to a priest, and he ended up giving me a tour of the entire. There's multiple chapels. It was so beautiful. But if I had never asked, I wouldn't have gotten those photos the way I did. But the point is that if you don't do that, you could see it in your work. Like when you go to look, sometimes I look at people's street photography work, and I was like, and it's all the back of people's heads, and it's far away, and I'm just like, ugh, you're just afraid to.
It's funny. Like the first roll I shoot, and like when I'm out shooting, there is space and separation, and then as I get more into the groove, more into the comfort of doing it, you can see in each roll, I'm closer, until like literally I'm scanning a roll right now. I'm like this fucking far from this cop, and it's like a fucking amazing photo. There's nothing special about it, but it is this fucking far away. And then like, I just remember I took the photo, thunk, and the guy looks at me like, what the fuck? And I was like, ha, bye. Like, just see you later.
Yeah. What is it? First Amendment or is it? Which amendment is it? Like, the right
free press or whatever,
freedom press or whatever on public. Yeah, which is like totally not cool in Japan, totally not cool in Germany. Certain parts of Europe, it's just they could sue you.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You do have to be careful overseas. So
we have it good here. Yeah, my buddy in Japan, I know we're reaching the hour soon, but my buddy in Japan, he just came back from Japan, and I was like, do you don't want to do street photography there? Because he always takes pictures of just like big skyscrapers and like big vast shots. And he's like, oh, I can't. I've already been caught once. Somebody's face, I posted a photo, their face was on it. They found me and they had me remove it, and they said they were going to press charges. I was like, what the fuck? People shoot street photography there all the time. He's like, they're Americans. They come in and we can't do anything about it. But if I live in Tokyo and do that, it's no good.
Dude, that's crazy. Wow. I guess I never really put that together. That's crazy. Wow, that's nuts. You really do learn something new every day. That's fucked up. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, man. Absolutely.
Talk to me,
man.
Talk to me a little bit about your intention and desire to create. Like I said, this conversation has been something I've been looking forward to for a bit. I'm wildly inspired by your work, by your ability to create like these cinematic masterpieces. But what in you and what drives you, and like why do you make photography?
I love the process. I've always compared photography to being an exotic butterfly catcher. You have to pack a little box and your net, and you get out there. You don't know if you're going to catch anything, but the physical aspect of leaving your home and going out into the wilderness, and then hacking away or whatever, swinging away, and then putting it in your box, and then coming home and seeing what you have, and then killing them and pinning them to your wall, right? But I mean, in so many ways, it's like photography. Like if I was painting, or there's so many other creative realms that music, everything happens here. You don't ever leave. When I was recording, the band would come to my studio. I'd be there already at the computer. I'd set up the microphones. And I mean, everything happened here. And I'd have a good time with the band. Then they'd leave. And then it's just me alone with my computer. With photography, I felt like at least I get to I have to get out there. I have to and then my brain is just changed so much since I've picked up a camera. Like my brain and my eyes are different now, right? Like the way I see something, like a light hit something, I feel like I'm watching my own movie. Like my life is now my own movie, more so than it was before I picked up a camera. And I'm also, when it comes to the non-physical aspect, not my vision, but my brain has changed in the sense that I can now, there's more adventure in me. And when I walk around, I don't just overlook things. I'm slower. I pay attention, even without a camera in my hand. I'm a lot more curious about what I'm looking at, where I'm at. Oh my God, history. And I've never been a fan of history at all. Right. And now, since I've realized, since I started taking photographs, I'm so interested in whatever building I'm in, even if it's a library. I want to know, how old is it? Can you tell me something about it? Are there old photographs that I can see? Something about knowing the history of a place and where it came from, and the little small events that led to where it is now, maybe a flood from back in the day, or this building used to be a train station, or this guy used to own horses here, but then he murdered his family. There's so many little things that I need to know about, because I realize that I'm a part of that now. As a photographer, I am now participating in this history, this documentation of history. So it only makes sense to naturally want to be interested in the history of whether I'm documenting or not. I want to know more about it. And of course, you can see my house is filled with things of the old. I love vintage things. I love not just collecting vintage things and being surrounded by it, but I also like going out and experiencing something that has history and some kind of old charm to it.
Dude, I mean, wow. That was wildly, wildly poetic. That was, shit. Fuck. That was that was a mic drop if I ever heard one.
Really?
Yeah, man, that was beautiful. I agree with you completely. I think the way my life has gotten better since picking up photography is measurable in every aspect of my life. The way I view the people in my life, the way I view the moments in my life, it has taught me to slow down and be appreciative of moments, because I know as a photographer they are incredibly fleeting. And there is simplistic beauty in every mundane aspect of life. And I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
Johnny,
absolutely.
Dude, I am so immensely appreciative of having you on the podcast today. I can't tell you what a treat this has been for me. I have a really cheesy line. If you've been on my podcast, you're part of my family. So welcome. You are an honorary Pachuto. And yeah, man.
It was amazing. I've never spoken to you before, and I feel like we're friends now. You're in...
I'm in Jersey.
You're not... You're in Jersey.
Yeah.
I would love to hang out one day if you come to LA, or if I make it out there, man. We're buds now,
Fuck
and
yeah,
I
man.
can see us continuing this conversation in a similar manner. Maybe we record it again. I don't know.
I love that.
But,
That was a great idea. I appreciate that. That sounds. Sign me the fuck up. All right, thanks, man. Be well.
Okay, take care, man. See ya.